better surprise for you. You're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real one. Gotta go, man. Well, look, it's in there somewhere. I'm sure you'll see it.
Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction, is the setting of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. It is a really cool idea for a location, and does make sense in universe. As you saw by the title of this video, however, I may have some problems with it. The building is a prime example of a great idea with a bad execution. In today's video, I'm going to cover all of the issues with the original FNAF 3 location, and then present my solutions to said problems with a full redesign of the building. I don't want to waste any more time, so let's begin by discussing the location of Fazbear's Fright as we know it, and analyzing the environments within. Fazbear's Fright is an in-universe location which is created many years after the events of FNAF 1 and 2. The company creating it is clearly very low budget, and it really shows within the building itself. Starting at the far end of the place, where customers will enter, it's really bare and empty. Aside from a poster or two, the first hall is just lacking. There are a few tubes coming from the walls and ceiling, along with whatever this stuff is supposed to be. Seriously, what is this meant to be in the context of the horror attraction? It's odd to say the least. This room is a very weak entrance to something that's supposed to be scary. Even the lighting here is just very basic. The next hallway is far more detailed and makes for something way more likely to be found in a walkthrough horror attraction like this. At least a bit of effort was put in to create an ominous feeling. It features the iconic Chica head with the light coming out of the eyes, along with the puppet mask on the wall. The old children's drawings also help to add to the creepy atmosphere. A pile of presents is also here as a bonus touch. Wires and decorations hang from the ceiling to add a little extra. The problem of emptiness still remains though, as all these things are in one part of the room. The back half from the camera is completely empty with literally nothing going on. This again makes the hall just feel weird and incomplete. It almost feels like the attraction isn't finished yet. I suppose it actually wasn't in-game, since we're told it opens in about a week, but I feel like it should definitely be more set up with just a single week left before opening. The next hall is an arcade-themed one, and it works pretty well. It is the second most detailed room in the building, only behind the office. The idea of, at this point, ancient Fazbear arcade machines being brought to this location is really cool, and adds to the otherwise lackluster immersion of the attraction. Still, the room does feel pretty basic. It doesn't feature any unique lighting or any other props besides the machines. There are wires hanging from the ceiling, but these do little to help make the place feel more real and alive. I get that it's a cheap, low-budget place, but they could have definitely done more considering all of the decor was essentially free since it was stolen from forgotten Fazbear locations. The next hall is yet again super empty. Decorative stars are abundant hanging from the ceiling, but that's about it. There are some posters and pizza decorations lining the walls, but that hardly does much of anything to fill the otherwise bare space. Throw in some more boring lighting, and I think you can really start to see what I'm getting at about the place just being very bare and boring and quite basic. The hallway within Cam 4 and 3 are next, and it suffers from much the same issues as most of the others in the location. Literally the only thing of note is the Foxy head attached to the wall. While very fitting for the attraction, it fails to work or have any impact, since there's nothing else backing it up. There's a few drawings and papers, but that's once again just simply not enough to make the building feel like it's a real place that could have existed. The Cam 2 hall has the exact same issue. Yes, the Bonnie stand with a single glowing eye is cool and a good prop for something like this, but again, there's nothing else in the entire space, making it feel really empty. There's just one final area to cover, that being the office. This is easily the most detailed area in the game. The outside of it, however, not so much. There's these green lights and the stand of Freddy. That's it. The hall itself has nothing going for it. The office is kind of a different story though. The cardboard box of old parts, the drawings and posters lining the walls, and the trash on top of and next to the desk come together to create a decent environment for the attraction. Even with these details though, the space fails to really sell the feeling. For one, the desk feels oddly empty. Sure, there's things on it at least, but it doesn't look like a security office desk in the slightest. No monitors, computer, anything. I think another thing that makes the room feel a bit off is the lack of stuff elsewhere within. Besides the mentioned props, we see nothing else. The room is fairly large, so it just feels empty with nothing else in it. It also doesn't even really feel like a FNAF security office because of how big it is. These things are normally small and crammed. This one is not. I hope my point is pretty clear by now. Fazbear's Fright is just a big empty space that hardly passes as a horror attraction. It fails to deliver on the name, and as a result is just a really weak environment for Five Nights at Freddy's. The idea of the building is a great one, but the execution leaves much to be desired. The contents of the building, or lack thereof, is a major problem, but so is my next point, the actual layout of the space. Take a look at the map of Fazbear's Fright and think about what's wrong with it. Sure, it's a super cool Easter egg that the map is just Scott Cawthon's avatar upside down, but that doesn't justify how bad it really is. There's a few main problems that really stick out like a sore thumb. The first is these weird connector points between multiple cams, Cam 8 to Cam 5, and the entirety of the Cam 2 hallway. In my opinion, a horror attraction like this should just be a single path. Having these split paths would make more people miss what little substance the building does have, deprecating the experience farther. It could also lead to people looping in circles and getting confused within the attraction. I get that they could possibly be for scare actors, but there's really no indication of that being the case in game. Even if it was, these are not good spots for them to be in the first place. Why even have this weird double hallway setup? It's no doubt for gameplay and balancing Springtrap, but I'm sure there was another way to make it fair to play, and make the environment actually feel real at the same time. The other main aspect of the layout that confuses me is the lack of any bigger rooms. The office exists, sure, but no actual rooms for people to walk through. The missed potential because of the lack of rooms will become very clear as soon as I go over my ideas to fix Fazbear's Fright. Again, I understand that the people who set this thing up did not have a ton of money, barely any at all, but surely at least one big room wouldn't have been so ridiculously expensive. It just makes the space feel very crammed, which could work well for a horror attraction, but in this case it just doesn't. The tightness of the space is not utilized properly in any way. A lot of these halls are empty and really take away from what the location could have been. I love FNAF 3, but this building was just not put together very well. I do have solutions for these problems though, solutions that I will be getting to right now, actually. My redesign of Fazbear's Fright keeps most of the original layout with just a few big changes to add to it. First, I've moved the entrance to be over here and added a little bit of a room specifically for this. Then I took the Cam 9 and 10 hall and expanded it to be a full-size room, something that the original is completely lacking. I'll go over the contents of each room after showing the full extent of my layout changes. This room then connects to the Cam 8 hall, this time opposite of where it is in base game. The hall is widened a bit and then leads to the arcade hallway. This is also expanded for future changes into another larger room. The Cam 5 hall is kept essentially the same, only removing the connection to Cam 8 to allow the building to flow better. The next hall is now split into two smaller rooms, divided by a diagonal wall. This again helps the attraction flow much better. The next room, which previously looked like this, is now expanded into another large room. The final area, being the office and its hallway, is pretty much the same as it is from the original. One universal change I've made across the entire building is removing the way that each room is connected. Instead of this weird transition zone, I've just connected them with normal doorways, most of which will be vital during the process of actually filling all this space. I believe that this layout is already far more dynamic and varied from the original, and now it's time to actually fill the space with props. We enter this new take on Fazbear's Fright with a grand, colorful entrance. A prize counter sits across from the doors, with the world-famous Fazbear plushies. A pink light shines on the merchandise. A bright neon prizes sign is on the wall behind it. Decorative stars are also hanging from the ceiling here. A red carpet guides people to the next room, with some details along the sides. To the left, we see a table set up with some chairs and a Mr. Cupcake on top. The wall behind features various pizza decor and has a blue spotlight shining on it. To the right side of the room, we see a few presents, balloons, and children's drawings, along with more stars. There's a green spotlight shining here. The far corner features more presents than stars, and a poster of Freddy himself is on the wall. The entrance of the next room is a grand arch, akin to that of the FNAF movie. A cardboard cutout of Freddy welcomes you to join the party. This room is meant to be a facade to cover up the true horrors deeper in. It lulls you into a false sense of security with how cheery it is. The bright lights and decor are meant to make it look like a Fazbear location in its prime. It's much more exciting than the usual entrance to the attraction, and I think it works great and complements what's to come farther into the building. Let's head into the next room. The next room is a grand dining hall based on a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It's made to look like a big party is currently going on. The tables are littered with plates, both empty and with pizza. Pizza boxes also sit atop them. More plushies cover the tables, as if abandoned by the children who were at the party. Balloons and party hats also sit on the confetti-covered tables. The chairs surrounding them are messy, turned around in various directions, some even tipped over entirely. Above the center of the room, a big happy birthday banner further adds to the cheery atmosphere being created. The walls are lined with more children's drawings, pizza decor, and various posters from the original FNAF 1 location. The lighting in the room is slightly darker than the entrance, but still vibrant, being a tint of pink. The far end of the room has a stage with animatronics of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. They're full of life, performing as they would in the actual Freddy's location. For now, they're more awesome than scary, but that won't last as we traverse farther into the attraction. There are some darker undertones in this room for people keen enough to look. Underneath the tables, blood trails can be seen, along with some spare endo parts. This is the first sign of something being off, but it won't be the last. The entrance to the next room has a neon sign above, labeled Arcade. Entering the arcade, it feels completely different. The room is dim, with colorful neon lights bouncing about the space. Shades of blue, pink, and green fill the arcade. The wall is lined with old Fazbear arcade machines, much like Cam 7 and 6 in the original location. These ones will occasionally flash on, and show 8-bit games from FNAF 2 and 3. The walls are covered in neon stars and children's drawings, along with a poster or two. The ceiling has neon stars spread about in different colors, and the room really feels like an arcade. The one detail here that I couldn't quite replicate in SFM is an arcade carpeted floor like this one. Next to the arcade machines, a large prize counter is present. It features a wide range of plushies and figures, along with the biggest prizes being wearable masks of the original characters. Below lies some presents. The main feature of this room is no doubt Pirate's Cove. It comes complete with a foxy animatronic, hiding behind the curtains. When someone walks by, it's the first real scare of the attraction, and it's already doing more than anything the original location in FNAF 3 had to offer. In fact, I think everything combined here makes for a way better arcade for the attraction than FNAF 3. The next room has an employees-only door as the entrance, along with a blood trail coming from the room. There's a red light coming from within. The next room is lit in a dim red glow. It's dark and ominous, a complete shift from the previous rooms. A few areas are covered in brighter lights that we'll get to in a second. The first thing many will notice is the ball pit in the middle of the room. It's bloody, and you can hear breathing within. The wall opposite has posters and party decorations just barely clinging to it. They're from a time long gone. The main feature here is obviously the wizards, sitting limp against the back wall. They twitch and shake with glowing white dot eyes. Beneath them, puddles of blood pool. The light above flickers constantly and emits a loud buzz. In front of the suits are monitors, which I would make display some kind of newscast from the time of the MCI, if I had the skills to do that in SFM, but just imagine it. There's also a bloody happy birthday banner laid out on the floor in front of them. The other wall of the room has more children's drawings covering it. Back to the ball pit, it's actually hiding a dark secret. As people exit to the next room, a Spring Bonnie animatronic based on the Into the Pit design will jump out and scare. I know that Into the Pit wasn't around when FNAF 3 was out, so it's a little unfair to compare this to the original game, but it was just such a good idea that I had to include it. The floor of the room also has a blood trail that leads through to the next room. The next room is yet again dark and red. It's a tight corridor with low visibility. Each corner shows something new. I actually would add more here, but SFM simply doesn't allow me to without crashing, so this is the most I can do. I'm going to just play a walkthrough of what this would look like. Just note that the others, especially Foxy, would have significantly more props if the program allowed. Turning the corner after Foxy reveals a chilling scene. The lighting is orange and the hall is a bit foggy. It features just one thing, a Spring Bonnie animatronic reaching his hand out. Around him, the stands of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica's head, and Foxy's head sit idly like they do in the original FNAF 3. Stars line the ceiling above, and posters and drawings line the walls of the space. Stepping into the next room, a small version of Fredbear's Family Diner is seen. It's not as it was in its prime, it's more decayed and rotting. Tables and chairs flipped over, posters coming off the decaying walls, and old arcade machines can be found. Stars and pizza decor, along with some presents, are in the room as well. The center of the room has a stage with Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. Use your imagination here, but Fredbear would have bloodstains coming from his mouth. Both appear limp and lifeless on stage, until someone walks by. One more thing in the room is an employees only door cracked open. Behind it, shadows are visible of Afton putting on the Spring Bonnie suit. The next room has a security door as the entrance. Entering the hall, Golden Freddy sits in the corner to the right. He's twitching, much like the ending of Ultimate Custom Night. Stars hang down on his sides, and monitors sit in front of him. The light above flickers, and the monitors glitch with the words, "It's me." A drawing and a poster line the walls on either side, and a red fog covers the scene. Moving forward is the office hall. Shelves line the right side with endo parts, plates, and plushies. In between, boxes of old animatronic parts sit, rotting. A corkboard is seen above, with more various drawings. The other wall features a window to see into the office. It's difficult to make out, but you can see the FNAF 1 desk setup, Celebrate poster, and everything. Either side of the glass has more posters. There's also a security door here that leads into the office. Moving deeper, an endo sits lifeless in the corner. The final hall is bare, with just an exit sign glowing bright red, pointing to the door at the end of the hall. The scares aren't over just yet though, as there's a hidden door in the darkness. As people pass by, it opens, and features a Springtrap jump scare, the final scare before getting to exit the horror attraction. Now, after hearing and seeing all that, I know you probably have some questions and possibly concerns with the design. Obviously, I don't think it's perfect or anything, but it is a large improvement over the original location. First big issue, gameplay. I did not take gameplay into consideration at all when making this layout. It could definitely be done though. I'd likely add some vents around just to make it like the original game, and a few other changes and cool interactions that Springtrap could have with the new props. If you show enough interest in this video, I would love to make a video showing what the gameplay here could look like. Another big issue with my redesign is more of a lore issue. The company behind the horror attraction in-game is clearly very low budget. They're literally going to old locations and stealing props for free. In my design, there are multiple high-tech animatronics used, along with unique lighting, scripted scenes, and different audio throughout the building. Combine that with the sheer amount of props I use in the design versus the original, and they don't even come remotely close in terms of the funds required. I originally was just going to leave this point be, but I do actually want to come up with a lore reason as to why I think this place can be as big as it is in the redesign. I think that in this alternate FNAF universe, the mysteries and stories of Fazbear Entertainment are far more popular than they are in the original. Some small group of friends starts creating and planning a low budget attraction just for fun. The brand is long dead, so buying the rights for it wouldn't be too expensive. A bigger entertainment company catches wind of the project, seeing the potential for a lot of money to be made. An agreement is made between the friend group and company, and a ton of money gets invested into this new location. They get custom made props by professionals, and the place becomes what I described in this video. I don't want to dive too far into this, but I'd even go so far as to have the phone guy explain a lot of this stuff to the player, and maybe throw some newspapers around the environment showing different stages of the deal and how it came to be. If you like the video, be sure to like it as it helps it reach more people. Leave a comment on what you would like to see next, or your ideas for a FNAF 3 redesign, and subscribe for plenty more Five Nights at Freddy's videos. I also have a second channel now where I'll be posting videos on other games that I enjoy, so go check that out, link in the description. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, superstars.